Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening dyan. And today, we're going to talk about the summary under Module 1 and 2 topics with the theme, ang silanganan ng aking lahing Arkitekturang Filipino, with the topics of early Philippine shelter, Islamic architecture, spectacle of power, Hispanic structuring of colonial spaces, imperial imagining American architecture in a new tropical colony, and architecture for a new nation. So let's get started. Early Philippine shelters. So there are prehistoric building types, which is caves, lean-to shelters, and arboreal shelters. So cave dwellings. There are the prehistoric cave shelters were the earliest form of the human habitats. So the Pleistocene people are the earliest dwellers of the caves in the Philippines, according to the theory of land or tulay na lupa. So examples of cave dwellings is the Tabon Cave, dubbed as the Philippines cradle of the civilization, located at Lipuon Point, north of Quezon Municipality of Palawan Island. Next is Lean-to Shelter. It's an imperial architecture, was one of the first artifacts created by humans. So they are actually temporary shelter. It is used with the sun and rain screen anchored by a pole or stick and angle on the ground. So, ang example natin yan is yung hawong, pinatubo eta, constructed with a ridge pole supported by a fork stakes or limbs. Nakikita nyo naman sa kabila dyan. Then, another one is the 8 Mamanwa Eta from Mindanao, used when hunting, made of wild banana leaves or coconut fronds with grass of rattan. And lastly is arboreal shelters. They are dwelling on high trees or tree houses. First shelter to be constructed were made from interlocking branches. Naka-interlock siya. Ayun. Tapos, ayan, 20, 30 to 60 feet above the ground for protection against animal and human enemies. Then, ayun, it can be found in areas where violent intertribal conflicts and nocturnal raids are frequent. Parang, like sa Baguio, Quezon, Lopez, nung panahon. So, ayun lang. Next.
So now, how about we talk about Islamic architecture? Already have ideas naman what is Islamic architecture, di ba? So, Islamic architecture is one of the world's most celebrated building traditions, known for its radiant colors, rich patterns, and symmetrical silhouettes. This distinctive approach has been popular in the Muslim world since in the 7th century. In relation to the built environment, the term function refers to the purpose of or use of a Islamic building or structure. Islamic architecture is well known with mosques, which is for worship purposes such as Selimiye Mosque, located in the city of Edirne. Then tombs for burial purposes such as the tomb of Bibi Jawindi, and also fortress for protection purposes for invaders, and an example of it is Bam Citadel. So with those examples earlier, one of the great things with Islamic architecture is that its style is very distinguishable, and that is because of its architectural element. Some of the most elements of Islamic architecture are minarets, which is a tower-like structure with small windows. Then also Islamic architecture is distinguishable through the most use of arcs, and their walls are super detailed and colorful with because Islamic architecture, one of the elements is detailed ornament. So Islamic architecture really is one of the type of architectural styles that is well known, and famous about, in especially to Muslim community. So that's all for Islamic architecture.
Good morning everyone or any araw dyan. So may topic about spectacle of power, Hispanic structuring of the colonial space or which known as Spanish architecture. Spanish architecture is a major influence on the Philippine architecture because when the Spanish colonialized the country, they altered the built environment including churches, forts, theaters, and other structures. It combines local tropical themes such as classical Romanesque, Gothic, Baroque, and Rococo European design elements. One of the example of Spanish architecture is mestiza, arkitektura mestiza or ibig sabihin nun is combine of wood and stones. Then one of example ng arkitektura mestiza is bahay na bato which popular in our country and until now it's nakatayo pa rin siya. May some na mga structure na nakatayo pa. Then isa pang example is yung Intramuros which called the walled city in the Philippines. Um, um, Intramuros is one of the oldest districted of Manila built on the south bank of Pasig River around 1571. Nag-build siya nung ano nga, yung nung araw ng ng colonial ng mga Spaniards. Then it has a all sides by moat and thick high walls with some ornaments. Then sa loob ng Intramuros matatagpuan yung mga mga forts, churches like Manila Cathedral, yun. Ayun lang. Thank you.
Okay. Arkitekturang Filipino, Imperial Imaginings, American Architecture in the New Tropical Country. So in the 20th century, after ng Spanish-American War, where yung Americans yung nanalo, epidemic diseases is very prevalent nung time na yun. So parang nadudumihan yung mga Americans sa Filipino kasi sa estero sila naliligo, sa estero sila naghuhugas ng pinggan. As in, iisa lang yung source ng water nila kung saan sila naglilinis, doon din nila tinatapon yung dumi nila. So, sanitary barrios, doon na iisa, ginawa yun ng Americans para iisa na lang yung paliguan, tapos laging malinis na yung tubig na ginagamit. Minodify din nila yung bahay kubo or vernacular dwellings kasi nga parang ayun yung source ng kadumihan doon kaya bakit may epidemic diseases doon. So, after nun, si Edgar Cayburn, nag-build siya ng buildings na inspired sa Spanish colonialismo. So, nagkaroon ng Spanish Mission Revival. After nun, si Burnham naman, dinisenyo niya yung Baguio. After nun, nagkaroon ng neoclassicism, nag-ano ulit, si William Parsons naman, nagkaroon ng modern way of constructing. Nandun din yung pensionado system, sila Thomas Mapua. So after nun, after nun, natapos na yung classicism, nagkaroon na ng Art Deco. Kila ano yun, kila pensionado, Thomas Mapua, something. So,
Architecture for a New Nation. Pagtapos ng World War, modernism helps to rebuild the nation through using the US fund. The national use more modern materials and ways affecting Philippine architecture. It gives architects budgets and access to modern material and ways of constructing. Designers starts to choose simplicity over complexity. Modernism made the people and the designers to have faith in technology after the World War II and became the foundation of Philippine modern architecture. Isa sa structure sa Architecture for a New Nation is the PICC. The architect of this structure is Architect Leandro Locsin. Kinonstruct tong building na to started in 1974 at nabuksan siya noong 1976. The architectural style of this structure is brutalist style. The next one is the Coconut Palace. The architecture of this structure is Architect Francisco Manyosa. Nakompleto siya noong 1978 and nirenovate noong 2010. The architectural style of this structure is Filipino vernacular architecture. Ibig sabihin, ito yung mga materials na nanggaling mismo sa ating bansa. Ayun lang.